11th grade, went to homecoming, and I developed that same night. I developed a crush on this girl. I worked up the courage to ask her out. First time I ever asked out anybody, and I didn't ask my older brother's advice or anything. I just did it. But it was just funny the way I asked her out. It was so, I had these preconceived notions of, I was living like I was some kid still, like asking out a girl, I went up to her at her locker someday the next week, and I said, hey, I was wondering if you'd like to go out with me.
That's it?
I said that.
You didn't say anything else?
And what does that even mean, though? It's almost like I had the idea that, if she said yes, we would go out with each other. It was like,
that's what you meant?
That's what I had in my mind.
Because I never thought that.
I was like, in my mind, I was like thinking like a kid, because you see these kids, they have these relationships, but they're not real. But they just.
I think what Nicky's trying to say is, sometimes you see when you're in elementary school, these kids that are quote unquote going out with each other, and it just seems to happen all of a sudden without having gone on, because dating is not really a thing. You're just kind of you're together in a way.
Right.
I guess, or something like that.
Right. That's what I mean. And so
you don't go on a few dates and then decide, okay, we're going out.
I was still so emotionally immature that I thought, that's the way things would work. And I asked her out like that, and she at first said, let me think about it. And she eventually said no. And that was unfortunate, but I was proud of myself for asking her out, because it was the first time I ever asked out a girl. But it was funny the way I asked her out, because in retrospect, I should have probably said, I was wondering if you wanted to get some coffee sometime, or something like that, or I don't drink coffee. I didn't even drink coffee back then. So I would have said, do you want to get some tea or ice cream or something like that?
Well, no, I guess you could say that. But in high school, you would probably say, do you want to go to...
You want to get a soda pop?
You want to get you want to go to the local ice cream parlor and, share
get a root beer float?
Go to a soda jerk and...
Right.
But seriously, you might just say, you might even say, do you want to just grab a bite to eat or something like that?
Right.
Like,
and then I started asking people their advice, and I told my older brother, and he's like, he's like, you actually asked somebody out, and he said, you should have said this, and I was like, maybe you're right. And then I remember asking a friend, and he's like, you like this girl? You should. I don't know what he's thinking, but he's like, you should get some tickets to Coachella, invite her to Coachella. I'm like, what? Like Coachella? It's so expensive. Granted, this was the early years of Coachella wasn't as expensive as it is now. I think it was one of the first years it was.
But that seems so bizarre. They invite her to a place that's not near.
Totally bizarre. I was like, what are you talking about? But you navigate these crushes, and you're learning things for the first time. And
yeah, I will say I had a big crush in high school as well.
Oh, wow.
But the girl had a boyfriend. Girl had a boyfriend, though, unfortunately.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes.
Because you're navigating things, mistakes are going to happen. And that's just a part of growing up. That's a part of developing as a human being. And so that's okay. Mistakes are okay, and that's all I'm saying. Don't be afraid to make mistakes is what I'm trying to say, because I think if I never had worked up to the courage to ask out that girl, I would have regretted it.
What's interesting though,
even though my way about asking her out was flawed and
really innocent,
and was so innocent. I was so innocent still and naive.
Right. I just wanted to clarify also though, that the girl I had a crush on. Let's just leave it be, I guess. I was going to say some people might think, well, why didn't you express how you felt anyway to her, you know? Well, the circumstances were such that I was not able to, because...
What?
And we'll leave it at that.
You didn't say anything just now. Oh, boy.